Hello! Hello everyone! Welcome to our second Early Access Developer Stream. My name is Catherine. We've talked on Discord and the forums and on the last developer stream and maybe somewhere else too. It is just going to be me this week. Ryan Jackson was of course in our first one, but I will do my best to bring all of the latest cool Survive By news to you. First of all, I'm feeling pretty under the weather, so please excuse maybe my decreased energy levels and also blanky mode, because we're in blanky mode today. Anyways, I've got a lot of really cool content that I'm going to be showing you guys. I'm really excited about it. Of course, all of it is mostly geared towards our holiday event that is going to be starting next Wednesday, which is December 19th, and it's going to be running until January 2nd. Let me double check that. January 2nd. So it'll be a 2-week from Wednesday to Wednesday to Wednesday to Wednesday type of thing. Ooh, send energy. Yes, please, Windblade. I need more energy. Please. Our balloons are also still holding up from our last developer stream, so that's exciting. As long as you guys have sent the balloons enough energy to stay afloat and for the helium to still be keeping them up there, we'll stay festive. It's still a party. The party doesn't stop till the balloons do. All right, so I'm going to bring up some of this new stuff. I will sort of just be pulling it out of my Google Drive, so we won't be able to show it to you in game today, but that's kind of what we're going to be doing next week. So if you guys weren't here, I guess more for like later in our beta, the way this typically works is we release every other Wednesday a new patch. Now, this has been kind of wild, right? Because ever since we launched on Steam, with the Video Game Awards and all of this hype, right? We've put out, I think, at least one hotfix, maybe even two every day. That isn't really typical to what we did in beta, but we will continue to put out a lot of those patches, of course, as needed. Those aren't scheduled ahead of time. It's more like, oh no, something's broken, let's fix it right now. And that's kind of how those things are decided. But the one thing that is basically set is every other week we do these big content updates. So for this week, it's an event, or I should say the next week, it's an event. Of course, that will not always be the way things are, but we do like holiday events. We had one for Halloween that was called the Deep Night event. There was one before that, which was kind of our first one, called the Prophecies of Sin. That wasn't really a holiday one. It was just sort of a cool summertime thing. So that's always something to look forward to. I think that says, oh, we have another big one coming actually pretty soon after this. We have the Invasion event. So I'll get to that one soon, but that one's going to be really cool. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let me pop over to my desktop real quick here. Okay, cool. So some of these things we talked about a little bit in our first early access preview stream. Today I have something a little bit better for you guys. I have some GIFs. Who doesn't love GIFs? So first of all, let's talk about our skins. Ta-da! Very cool stuff here. Let me bring over Twitch chat so I can still see you guys. All right, cool. So we have on the far left, we have our Alchemist as the snowman. We have the Druid looking festive, kind of like Rudolph there. The Geomancer is, okay, let me try and find this character. Did you guys watch that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie? Gosh, it looks like it came out in the 60s or something, is what Google's telling me. There's a character in there who he based him on. If someone knows what I'm talking about and can put it into the chat, that would be awesome. It's not Bumble. Oh, Yukon, that's it. I should know this. I watched this all the time when I was a kid. This guy. Oh, that's a blurry picture. That guy. He was great. He was the one who would always lick his pickaxe for some reason. I remember when I was a kid, I was always really confused about that because they made it look really delicious. There was like snow coming off of it, but it kind of looked like a blue icy or a slushy. I don't know. I think I'm just dehydrated, guys. Don't listen to me. I don't know what's happening. But that's who that's based on. And then over here, we have a holiday elf as the harbinger. Now, can we talk about clearly the best one here? Look at this guy. An absolute unit. Look at this lad. He's just like peeking out from inside the mouth. It is just, it's something else. He's totally my favorite. And then the Sentinel is our Nutcracker. So I love these skins. I'm a self-proclaimed Halloween nut, so Deep Night I was really excited about. But I think this is probably my favorite skin set yet, and that's saying something considering my love and admiration for the Meat Shield skin set, which I have to admit, those were fortunately or maybe unfortunately my idea. So when you're running around in game looking like a hot dog, you can blame me for that. But this one is tight. And I have even better news. So there is in town going to be a tree. There's going to be a tree in the middle of the town. It should, I believe, be this bigger one on the left. And the way that it's going to work is it's basically going to be like a secondary daily reward system. So you interact with the tree once a day for the duration of the event, the 2 weeks, and you're going to get something from it. There are 3 possibilities. The first possibility is that you are going to get a weapon projectile, which I will show you right. Where are they? Here we go, right here. So we have ornaments, snowballs, and candy canes. Basically, you consume one of these bad boys, and then your weapon projectile will be one of these for, I don't know how long. I know in the past it's usually like 3 hours or something like that. I believe that's what it was for Deep Night. So yeah, these will be free. This is what you're gonna have the highest chance of getting, right? The thing that you will have the second highest chance of getting is, I'm so excited about this. Okay. Minions! Okay, they're not pets. I need to be very clear about this. Look at me. Look at my eyes. Look at my sick eyes. They're not pets. But it is going to feel kind of similar, right? It's going to be a temporary thing that follows you around. Once again, I don't think that we've set that time quite yet. But you take this consumable, and one of these little guys appears. He follows your character around, and he will deal damage with you. Like I said, they're only going to be around for the holiday event, so you can only get one during these 2 weeks. But yeah, it's going to be just kind of like a little fun thing it basically appears for a little while, it shoots for a bit, and then it kind of disappears. It's almost like having a Geomancer turret with you. Raytail had compared them in chat, looks like to a summons. Yes, it is totally very similar to that. So here's one. The next is the Holiday Cyclone. Don't get swept up in festivity. Woo! Yeah, that one's fun. And then where's the third one? Here we go. I don't know, we're gonna call this like the candy cane anima, I suppose. I don't actually know if they have names yet, but this is what they're gonna look like. So they're pretty cool. Like I said, they come to life just for a pretty short amount of time. They follow you around, they shoot stuff, and then they die. These, of course, are free. I'm pretty sure you can only really get them from the giving tree, or whatever we're calling it, the holiday tree. But yep, so that is one possibility. And now, the final possibility is when you redeem this, there is a percentage chance that you can get one of our holiday skins. So this is sort of a cool new thing that we're implementing. It's not something that we've done in the past. Typically, skins were always something that you had to get Bloodstone, convert into Electrum, and then buy with Electrum. Instead, this time you have a chance to actually get free skins from the holiday event. So every day, like I said, for 2 weeks, you will be able to try your hand at getting one of these. No matter what, you will get at least one new thing every day, and that should be pretty exciting. The one thing that we will definitely check too is we're looking at making sure that if you buy any of the holiday skins, for example, the random skin that it will give you, it'll make sure that it checks what you already have, so you don't need to worry about, you know, oh, I saw the Nutcracker and I loved it. What if I get another free Nutcracker that doesn't count for anything? We'll make sure that those things are are unique and that you'll have a shot at still getting them. So that's pretty cool. Comics is asking, can we keep the minions and consumables after the events? Huh. I don't know, because it's in your inventory. I know that we're not giving them out anymore after the event. I would assume that if you have it, it doesn't disappear. I would have to check. I will double check on that, and I will get back to you guys. Maybe I'll post it to the forums. I know we're definitely going to put out like a holiday event guide or a write-up of some kind, and I'll make sure that all of that information is in there. We'll have more exact things like how long these minions will last for example, or how long the different projectiles will be active for. So a lot of the more concrete information, the more concrete details, we'll be able to give that out to you in a bit. Now, we're not done. There will be a few new friends in town. We will have the toy maker here. She's a funky little lass, and she helps kind of teach you about our holiday tree that we have in the town center. She's fun. I don't know. I love her hat. Dave Core, hello from Saudi Arabia. That's exciting. Wondering if we're going to add more localization, basically. Yes, that is definitely in the plans. I don't know if we have an ETA on that yet, but we have set up the capacity for localization, I know, within the game, so that's totally on our radar. Let's see. But then we also have our holiday worker. I think we've been sort of jokingly calling him like the, what are we calling him? Like the intern or the grad student or something? Because he's totally a worker for the toy maker, and he's just working away on his toys. I love these little wood shavings. One of our artists was joking that they're actually supposed to be corn chips, which, if you ask me, is even better if you think about the fact that this is like some grad student and he's just like eating all these snacks. I mean, you know, you guys can kind of fill in the gaps on some of the lore here. You can do whatever you want. We can call these corn chips. We could call them wood chips. They can be whatever you want. Good stuff like that. All right. Let's see. Oh, and of course we have our 2 skin sets. So just one of our guys in action. Here's just the regular infiltrator, and he's wearing our, it's like a winter attachment set. So one of them is more holiday, and the other one is very just winter, snow, things like that. So this is sort of our traveler's pack, celebrating the snow. We live in Madison, Wisconsin. It's really cold here, hence the blanket. It totally just snowed like this morning, so I think we're all definitely getting in the mood here. I'm sure it'll be a white Christmas. And here is kind of a sneak peek at the behind you trail. It's basically going to be like an icy little thing that pops up behind you. Get dunked on, yes, those are snowshoes. And it looks like he also had skis back there too. Let's go back real quick. Yeah, and he has like a little backpack here, maybe like a little cup canteen so he can, I don't know, boil some water or something. He's like ready to explore the Yukon. I'm proud of him. Kevlaz, right now you can't really sort your inventory very much. That's totally something that I know a lot of people have requested. We really want the ability to at least have things kind of sort together, where like if you pick up a key, it'll be by all of your other keys. That's something that I've definitely submitted a ticket in for so that we can take a look at it, and it would be great if we could get that in there. Let's see. If you don't have a character unlocked, will you still be able to get a skin for them? That's a good question. I would imagine that's something that we'll probably also have to get back to you on in that post, but that is a really good question, and I will definitely look into that too. Let's see. Crafting and economy problems, yes, I will get to that in a second. I'm going to finish up the holiday stuff, and then we can kind of talk about some of that. Okay, and yes, Rails is asking if the world is going to be covered in snow. So yes, the Deep Night event, let me bring it up. If you guys weren't here for it, deep fried memes is what comes up first. Oh my gosh. There it is. All right, so Autumn Comes to the Heartlands. This was our Deep Night event. Everything was sort of Halloween, spooky themed. And we changed our visual. So actually the way that the game looks right now isn't our default. It is still technically fall. I know we took away sort of a lot of the decorations that came out with Deep Night. I don't know if any of those are in this post. It doesn't look like they are. But Deep Night was very much about like spiders and candles and lanterns and things like that. So for Deep Night, there were a lot of, like a stack of candles with a skull, and then the skull had a candle on top and it would glow, and it was nighttime all the time. And we also added like that leaf effect when you're running on the road. That's totally a fall thing. And we tinted everything. Another change that was kind of subtle, but I think really cool, is all of the different trees in each one of the different biomes in the world, and like all the foliage in general got kind of like wilted and kind of dead looking. Pieces were sort of falling off of the trees, and we kind of tinted we tinted the colors back a bit, kind of desaturated them a little bit so they looked a little bit more dead. And that's something that we'll continue to do going into winter, so they're going to look even more bare. Something that's kind of cool is we have all these different biomes in the Heartland. And typically when you think about how the seasons are going to affect a place, Tier 4, everything's already snowy. So what would fall look like in a wintry area? Well, everything is located inside the world tree. So don't think of each individual biome going through these things perhaps. Just sort of think of like the whole of the world tree going through these seasons, and sort of imagine those impacts being placed upon everything within it. So that's where we actually had a lot of our fall effects spread across everything. The winter effects too will be kind of more universal. I know we've talked about, I think we're gonna add like sliding effects to the ice. If you guys have been inside the Tier 4 dungeon, when you kind of slide around, skid around, things like that, and that'll be on shallow water. And I know we're also looking at putting in snow. I'm sure we'll have some sort of holiday decor over in the tower too. We've talked about things like putting up string lights on the buildings and just kind of getting it feeling festive. Snowmen would be really, really cute too. I don't know if that's something that we're doing or not, but that's a type of thing that you can probably expect. And that will all start at the same time that the holiday event does. So I don't actually have any screenshots of that to show you right now, but all of that will go live at the same time that that all of this does. So next Wednesday. Speaking of snow, here's everything all together. We've looked at the other parts, but here's the snow cloud. It just sort of brings the snow down on your head. All right, and our holiday skin set. So this is actually kind of an old asset that I pulled from when our artist was still doing sketches. So this is not final art here. This is all still pretty early, but you'll definitely get the idea. It's basically a trail of toys that drops behind your character. So if you have this Santa sort of loot sack on your back and then you're running, it's gonna look like toys are falling out of the bag. We always try and see if we can like coordinate those things together. I know one thing that we did in Deep Night that was sort of cool is we had the trick-or-treat pumpkin, and then the thing that would trail behind you was candy. So it looked like you were running, you had the pumpkin on a stick, and then the candy was like flying out of the pumpkin. That's actually very kind of similar to the idea that we have here. Then there's a flashing Christmas light that goes above your head that changes colors. That's right here. Very blinky. And the good news is we will be giving this to everyone for free. So sort of as a thank you, we know that things have been a little bit bumpy along the way. Of course, we've had so many new people joining us with early access. It's been really, really amazing, but also kind of tough on our servers. So I really appreciate everyone's patience who stuck with us, who's voiced your concerns. We're totally listening. We're absolutely talking over those changes internally and trying to make sure that we can take the game into a direction that everyone is happy with. And so as a thank you, we're going to give you the holiday set for free. So if you think about it, Deep Night, I think you actually had to pretty much buy everything using Electrum. But now with the holiday event, everyone's going to get the holiday set for free. And then you can go to the tree and have a chance of getting other holiday skins. So it's going to be very festive. I'm really excited. Of course, those minions are also a free drop chance from the tree, and so are the projectiles. So it's definitely the season of giving. I'm very excited about that. Windblade, the holiday set once more. That is the over-the-head attachment with the blinking light, the Santa pack on your back, and then the toys that will come out the back. And attachments can be applied to every single character. So if you go to the seamstress in town, there's skins, attachments, and dyes. So in the attachment section, basically you can apply it to whatever character you're playing, and then if you can swap those things out between characters. Basically buying them, it's like an account-wide purchase. Let's see. Cool. All right. So I'm going to start diving into some of the other stuff. That's pretty much everything I have right now for the holiday event. I hope you guys are excited about it. I know I am. But if you have any other questions that come up, definitely let me know. You've definitely asked a few really good ones that I'm going to look into. And then I'm sure we'll be releasing like a holiday in the Heartlands type of blog, I would imagine in the next week, of course, because it's going to be out next Wednesday. That's something that I'll make sure to promote on Steam and on Discord and the forums and things like that, so that everyone can see what those actual numbers are going to be. So, yay, holidays. Okay. Let me switch gears a little bit here. All right, so this went out on December 10th, so this was 2 days ago. Like I said, we have definitely been listening. I really appreciate all the feedback that we've been getting. It's been super, super helpful for us. It seems like when I've been reading through all of our Steam reviews, I've been getting to as many Discord messages as I possibly can at any given time, etc., etc. There are a list of, looks like we have 5 things here that really, really stand out to us as things that we want to address, and that is, excuse me, that is, of course, connection and login issues, missing Steam Pack items, losing progression, some bugs associated with Ancestral Legacies, and issues with progression, losing progression, of course, but also just kind of getting stuck on things. Obviously, that's no good. So I can try and go through some of these with what we've already done, and then actually we will have a letter from the producer, from Ryan Jackson. He's our creative director, and that will be going out on, I want to say Friday, I believe. We're going to be releasing that. So I will be able to speak to it in some sort of topical level of detail, but that letter will definitely go a little bit more in depth with some of these plans, more of our concrete ideas about what we're going to be doing. So connection and login issues, that's one I can definitely speak to the most. We've been having these issues. We've had so many new players joining us. Of course, it has been stressful on the servers. It's something that we've had server stress tests before this, but of course we've never had this number of players, this volume, all trying to get into the game at once. This is something that we certainly have been trying very hard to prepare for, but hadn't really had a good opportunity to truly test before. So we're working through these things as quickly as we possibly can. I know things were kind of tough over the weekend, but we had our developers in and working on this stuff, I think, basically every day since we launched. And I think right now we're at a point where I think last I heard, our last hotfix made pretty significant improvements there. Our servers are going down less frequently, and of course that also means that loss of progression should also be slowing down too. So it's definitely a work in progress. It's something that we're always going to be working to improve. It looks like things are definitely at least going in the right direction, but that's something that we are going to continue to work on and do the best that we possibly can to make sure that everyone is able to access the game, of course, but also that everyone is able to stay in the game, because that's pretty important. Those login issues, once again, very similar, very related. If you see an error 400, typically that's going to mean that there is an issue with your username or your password. So that's going to be that you typed something in wrong, or sometimes it's a little random, and I found that if I just reset someone's password, suddenly it'll work. So that's something that we can totally work through together. I know I've been working with a few folks in Discord on trying to make that happen. We have the ability to sort of duplicate player accounts and do some investigating on our own if need be, so that's something that we'll definitely try and do, and we will totally try and get that together as soon as possible because, like I said, we want you to be able to access the game, of course. That's pretty important. Missing Steam Pack items, that's also really, really important to us, especially if you have spent money to acquire this. That is a top priority. We would never try and cheat someone out of their money, right? So we have a place where you can submit a ticket for that. It is pinned on the forums and it's in Steam, but just in case, it should be surviveby.com/Zendesk. That is something that I can post into the chat in just a second, but you can submit a ticket there, and if you are missing any items that you lost from progression being reset, if you're missing Steam Pack items especially, that is something that we will absolutely make sure is refunded to your account. I'm really sorry that's happening. I don't know why it is happening, but it's definitely a #1 priority for us that you get those things back because they're yours. Secondly, those potions. So consumable and, or what is it? They're consumables, sorry. XP boost and drop rate consumables, both of those. Those were not lasting for as long as they were supposed to. They're supposed to last for 3 days. People were logging out or switching characters, and then suddenly the potion effect would kind of disappear. That's something we're totally aware of. I started going through and refunding all of those potions to people, and then they would try it again, and then it would just disappear again. So clearly there's just a bug there that needs to be resolved in general. That's also something we're working on. And then once we have that totally smoothed out, we know that they aren't going to disappear. A lot of that, I think, is also kind of connected to those server problems as well. We are going to refund them to everybody sort of in bulk. So if you are missing your potion, or I should say your consumable, that's not something that you need to message us about unless you want to. But we are able to see on the back end everyone who is owed one of those. And we basically have a script that we can run that is going to just refund all of those. So when that happens, we'll let everybody know and it will be sent to your mailbox in game. So we'll make sure that those are also restored to your accounts. And once again, I'm so sorry about that. Okay, loss of progression. Once again, servers. It's always what it seems to come back to, right? While we can't technically like restore progression in a more literal sense, we can do things like refund items. If a character exploded or something, that's something that we do have the ability to resurrect. So once again, submit a ticket to that Zendesk link. We want to try and make things as fair and fun for everyone, and we know it's not fun or fair if you've worked really hard and then you log on and something's gone. So we will make that work, and of course, as we're working on the root cause of all these things being our servers, you'll see a lot of these problems start to go away. Trust me, I am as excited, and the rest of the team is as excited as you guys are about them not being an issue anymore. We are just as invested in making sure that the game works smoothly and that everything is going where it needs to, because we want everyone to have the best experience possible. Ancestral Legacy bugs like cards still being assigned to dead characters and can't be consumed. Okay, so that's something that I've also gotten some reports of. People have been like, hey, it says that my Ancestral Legacies are in use by Pickle, my character named Pickle. Can you delete Pickle? And then my legacies will come back. Unfortunately, that's not the way that this bug seems to be working. So this is just a bug that we're working on fixing, and then those legacies will go where they're supposed to without needing to delete any characters or anything like that. That's still something that we're working on hotfixing, and once again, I'm so sorry that I can't give a perfect ETA on these things yet, but it's always a work in progress, and I will be sure to let everybody know as soon as I've heard something there. All right, so those are our top priorities. We're definitely working on them. I like get dunked on, remove Pickle, he needs to be deleted. Yes, okay, let me just go back through some of these comments. I'm sorry. I don't want to be missing questions either. Okay, so Senzoba is asking if there's a chance that the game will be offline. Probably not, just because the online component's pretty important to just sort of the heart of Survive By. We really want this to be a game where you can log on, play with your friends, have really cool adventures, and I also know that as it is right now, Playing with your friends perhaps isn't as elegant as we would want it to be. We are implementing party and guild systems, and that will totally improve that experience. But in the meantime, you can add people as your friend. You'll be able to see them differently on the mini-map. They'll have a different color icon, and then all XP is also shared between players, so that's always helpful too. And it's always good to go into some of the more difficult raid dungeons with friends, of course. All right, let's see. Tier 5 dungeon bug. Yeah, it looks like I've heard a few things about Tier 5. That's something I've also made sure to report. Reworking or rebalancing classes. Yes and no. So our plans for classes, I think, are pretty closely entwined with our plans for Ancestral Legacies. We don't have a final plan yet that I can really reveal, but one of the potential options that we're looking at would be legacies that really impact the way that your characters are built. You'd almost be able to make kind of a subclass out of your legacies that would have, I think, a more drastic and more obvious effect on your character than maybe some of our more stat-based legacies that we have right now. So in that way, yes, I would say that we're working on that, but there's a very good chance that it won't be through like the character system. It would be more through Ancestral Legacies. Okay. Yeah, HD Skyfish, if you bought those starter packs and they disappeared, that is totally a top priority. Please, let me actually bring that up for you right now. There we go. I'm going to post this into chat. Hopefully that'll... Okay, cool. So the link is in chat now. Just go ahead and submit a ticket there and let us know what your username is and all of that, and we'll make sure that those things are restored. Wabbajack is asking if there will be better bulk crafting. Yeah, so way back when, it was actually like a month ago, who am I kidding? It has not been that long. We posted this, we posted this really cool preview of, here it was late October. It's the third video of our plans for our crafting queue and what that crafting UI would actually look like. So these are all mock-ups here, but this is a lot closer to what we're actually working towards. I understand that this is not how our current UI looks or how things work right now, but you can see that, you know, we've got all of our different craftsmen located on different tabs here. You guys are free to, of course, check out this video on your own time. It's on the Hot Topics section of our forums, forums.surviveby.com. And there's a video where I basically just go through, and our artist kind of has all of the different captions explaining what's happening in each step along the way. You can see how the numbers are changing and what that overall user flow looks like. I would definitely say that the crafting queue that's in the game right now is kind of a little bit placeholder. We really wanted to have the feature in for early access, but that certainly isn't the final iteration of it. So yeah, it'll look certainly a little bit better in the future here. Okay. Something about UI scaling and being able to move UI around more. Yeah, that's also something I've seen a lot, especially text size. I'm almost wondering if that's something where, yeah, I don't know. So when I play the game, the text doesn't feel small to me, but I'm wondering if it has something to do with like the size of the monitor I'm playing on or the settings that I have going on. I'm not sure. It just seems like there are a lot of players where they're having a lot of difficulty reading it, and so that's something that I know I've definitely put into our ticketing system. Other people have asked if they can like scale the mini-map more, do things, do more things with it. Right now you can at least hide the UI, so that's sort of a newer feature, but I would imagine that we'll certainly continue to expand on that. Okay, I'm gonna hop back to the Steam post really quickly, and then I'll keep going through some of these questions. Okay, cool. Let me see here. Okay. So the other really big thing that's going on is the Steam economy. So or the game economy rather, sorry. There are a lot of folks in our reviews who are talking about perhaps not being super enthused with the way that our in-game economy works. I understand and I totally hear you. I think that part of it is also that the game doesn't maybe do a very good job at demonstrating right away that Bloodstone can be converted into Electrum. I know that that's something that I definitely have noticed myself, where it's like, I know that obviously because, you know, I work here, but if not, perhaps it wouldn't be super clear to me. So we're making some changes in-game that will at least better reflect that, certainly to new players, and make it a lot clearer how you can actually take your Bloodstone and turn it into Electrum and buy whatever you would like. So we'll be moving the exchange more centrally in town, and then we also have a really nice new tent that the vendor will be in, so it's a lot clearer. But on top of that, we also expanded the base player inventory by 10. So we added 10 free slots. And that's only a couple things, right? Like, that's obviously not us being like, well, that solves it. There's definitely more that we want to do. So like I just talked about, bag size, we did change that. The placement of the exchange is going to be better. But that's something that Ryan is going to talk about more in that producer letter. We're going to reveal more of our plans for our game economy. One thing that someone brought up that I think is really important that I really liked is that when you are at the screen where you have just died and all of your items are listed there and you can mark them for kin, it isn't always super clear on that screen that if you're doing that it costs Electrum. So at the very least, that is a change that we are going to make, where it is very, very obvious when you are spending our in-game currency. But beyond that, we've been kind of thinking about that whole entire system just in general, and about if it feels fair or not. Some people have said it feels a little bit too easy if it's supposed to be a roguelite type of game, and when you die, you could just keep all of your gear, that maybe that feels a little bit too pay to win to them. I totally understand why it would feel that way. So it's something that we're discussing, and that we will definitely be releasing more concrete plans on this stuff, hopefully sooner rather than later. Of course, this is stuff that is certainly being discussed, but we want to make sure that whatever conclusion we come to is what's best for everybody, and so we really want to make sure that we're taking a little extra time and making the right choices. Okay, and by the way, if you have thoughts on any of these things, please let me know. This is a very hot topic for us right now, so if you want to share that kind of feedback to the forums, that would be especially helpful to us right now, just because I know that this is something that we've really been focusing on, because that's probably the most resounding piece of feedback that we've gotten, is folks who may not totally understand, or who just simply aren't happy with our economy. So obviously it is a player-driven economy. We want to make sure that it is fair, so please share that. All right, we do talk a little bit about that loss of progress once again, and you can post that to our support link. And yep, going forward, we'll be giving everyone that free set. All missing XP, drop rate, and craft time reduction consumables will also be refunded. So we are really, 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 really intent on building our game alongside the community, and regardless of how constructive or non-constructive criticism may be, we are always reading it, and it is always super valuable to us. So I promise I have been taking a lot of time to read these things, and so is the rest of the team, and it's going to be really, really helpful for us. So if you can take the time to leave that will be awesome. The more you can add to that conversation, the better. All right. Let me hop into these YouTube questions real quick too. Let me move this over here so you don't have to look at me twice. Okay. Let's see. Will there be special skills or special boss loot from the dungeons? I'm not sure if this was related to the holiday event or if this is just sort of a general thing. So we don't have like special like boss themed loot or anything that drops. That would be super cool, but obviously each boss is associated with each tier, so that's the kind of loot you're going to be looking for there. Let's see. And yes, Lincoln Bear, there is definitely a way to earn that Electrum in game. I know I just kind of touched on it, but earning Bloodstone from quests and from daily challenges. So there's the daily challenge board, which is located in town. Here, I'm just going to put this up so you have something nicer to look at than there we go. Looks like, yeah, Sandile ML. You can check out our holiday skins while I blab here. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh, Twitch chat, help me. My brain is made out of spaghetti. I'm so sorry, you guys. I was talking about, oh yeah, how to get Bloodstone. Yikes. Okay, so you can go on quests and you can complete things through the daily challenge board. And those daily challenges can be, and the quests can be completed by 2 characters per account. So as much Bloodstone as you would earn from one character, you can basically double that. So the cap is, oh my gosh, math is hard. Is it 48? I don't want to be wrong. But it's a pretty solid number of Bloodstone you can get per day. So that's definitely the strategy that I would go for. But the cap is only for what you're earning from quests and challenges. Of course, you can also take the gear that you're earning from going through dungeons and put that on the auction house and get Bloodstone from that as well. So using the auction house, using the exchange, there aren't caps set there. It's all just for what you're kind of earning day to day. So, yep. Also, DQME, talking about there only being one overworld quest. The reason why it looks and seems that way is because there's only one active per week. And maybe it would be cool if we could change that. Of course, we don't want to have there be too much Bloodstone going out every single day, or else that would kind of throw things out of balance a little bit. But we have, I think, 3 quests? 3? Yeah. And we rotate through them each week. So like there's one in the desert, there's one up in our rainforest area, the Demoscene of the Unseen. Yeah, you can kind of explore a little bit, or desert, it's more like savanna. But you can explore through the tiers and try and find those quests. And there's a guy in town who you can talk to who will always kind of allude to where those quests are located. So if you don't know, you can always chat with him and he'll tell you, oh, there's something to the east in the desert you should go check out. And the quest givers tend to be located kind of right off the main roads. So, all right. Let me see here. A bestiary added eventually. So there was a bestiary. I'm not sure if that's something we disabled or not. I'll have to look into that, but there definitely used to be. Yeah, let's see here. Possible new classes in the work. No, nothing in the works, but that's kind of when I was talking about those legacies, being able to change a lot of things. So this is not canon, okay? One more time, look in my sick eyes. This is just an example, but let's go with the Geomancer, one of my favorite boys here. Let's say that there was a legacy that I could apply to him that would make his turrets do something different. So instead of circling around me, suddenly they're all in a line. Or let's say there's a legacy I could apply that would change him from a regular Geomancer, which is a little bit more kind of like elemental looking, into being like a Pyromancer, where he deals fire damage. That kind of stuff. That's sort of where we're looking at possibly using legacies for something like that. Once again, not confirmed, but certainly a rabbit hole that we've kind of been going down lately. And that's something that I'm really excited to have finalized and be able to talk to you guys about, because I know that legacies are definitely something that players have been wanting revamped for a long time. And I'm excited to see ways that they'll feel more valuable and also feel a little bit more unique. Milden, how can you get the holiday items? So one more time, you can stop at this tree and oh my gosh, please no. I don't want to sign. Okay, fine. You can stop at that holiday tree and oh my goodness, the internet. You can stop at the holiday tree once a day. It's basically kind of like a daily check-in, daily login reward type of thing. And then you can also purchase them through the store where we have our other skins. Okay, Google is not being cooperative with me right now. see. So yeah, you have a chance at earning a skin through the tree, and then of course you can also just pick one of those up. Okay, there we go. Oh, hold on. Thank you for your patience, everybody here. GQME, the world feels a little empty. Yep. So actually before beta, it was definitely emptier. We didn't have like structures in there. We didn't have some of the environmental storytelling that we've been working on. So that's kind of been our first step in making the world feel more interesting. So like in tier 5 with Sigilla and all of that, those buildings with all the resin and everything that didn't used to be there. So building that out has really helped a lot, but I would certainly imagine that the next step will be bringing in more structures, more like big landmarks, kind of like the ziggurat down in tier 3. More quests would certainly help. People have asked for, you know, different NPCs that might be out there, maybe like little puzzles or clues that are hidden in the environment that can help you kind of piece things together. There have been a lot of possibilities that you guys have thrown out there. I'm certainly interested in hearing more because that would also be really cool for it to feel like it's a little bit more thriving out there. One consideration to make that does make this maybe a little bit more complicated is just that I'm really watering this down here, but the general lore of the game is that there was some cataclysmic event that happened a long time ago. The world tree sort of like split open and this resin rose to the surface. That's the yellow gooey stuff that looks like honey. It's tree resin, like tree sap. And it's corrupted though. So the beasts that went through it, so think like, I don't know, there's like a stag. It was just a sweet, gentle stag, and then it was corrupted by the resin. It turned into a chimera, and chimera are like the more humanoid, kind of sentient versions of the beasts that are wandering around. You can tell it's a chimera because they usually have clothes and weapons and things like that. So anyway, humanity was kind of driven to the brink of extinction, and we had to kind of move into the tower. So that's why we're right at the center of the world tree. It's like we were moved in from all the different corners and kind of just brought right here. So on one hand, it's a little bit challenging to have too many humans out in the world just because that breaks lore a little bit, but there might be ways that we can get around this. And so I would certainly be interested in kind of seeing where that'll go and how that'll happen. Another thing that I think will be kind of cool is the invasion event, which I know we did touch on briefly. Actually, let me see if I can bring it kind of back up in case anyone wasn't here last week. But the invasion event is going to be an event that'll kind of happen out in the world where different shrines will be under attack. I'm really simplifying things here, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so yeah, awesome. The generalized version of this is that the Chimera are making a new push, and those waypoint shrines are under attack, and so they're going to have like these different sort of medieval-looking weapons. What would you call these? Siege vehicles? I don't know. Help me out. Oh yeah, siege enemy. It was right there. But yeah, you can donate your items to spawn guards, and the guards will protect things. It's like I said, it's kind of like a cool tower defense thing. And if you defend the shrine successfully, not only can you keep using it, because that certainly is handy, but you will be rewarded with imprints. So that will definitely make the overworld feel a lot more alive. It's kind of like an ongoing quest. What do we call those? Real-time events? But that'll be super cool. So this is just one of the siege enemies, by the way. We've got these other two here that haven't been textured. This one I think is really interesting. I wanted to include these two in here, even though obviously they aren't done, because we don't normally 3D model stuff before we pixel paint it. But this was kind of a unique exception just because of the nature of what it is. You know, it's pretty complicated, and it needs to look right. You know, the perspective needs to be right, and the lines need to look right. And I think the easiest way to do that was just to 3D model it. So It's kind of a cool before and after type of thing here. All right, let me head back to the holiday. Oh, let's bring up that slide while I go back through here. All right. A healing class. So the Sentinel definitely is your best bet if you're looking for healing. Their special is a circle of healing that goes down on the ground, and that is something that affects other players, unlike a lot of the other classes. So if anyone is within that healing circle, they are affected. Let's see, Christmas event bosses, actually. So the Christmas event did start out as something maybe a little bit more involved or intensive. Of course, we've been working on it for quite a long time now because, I mean, we knew Christmas and the holidays were coming, right? It comes every year. But as things kind of came closer to early access and we launched and all of that and all of these sort of server things have come up, we've just found that there have been a lot of pretty pressing things that it's really important to us that we fix so that your core experience is better. So we have kind of swapped focus over to that rather than perhaps making things a little extra complicated. So I think that a lot of the really fun stuff about the event is still going to be there. But no, it won't be quite as involved as Deep Night was. That was like a full month type of thing. Same with Sin. There was a special boss for it. So the holiday event won't have that, but you can kind of think of Invasion as always being kind of like a mini boss. So that'll be interesting. Story mode, that would also be super cool. I'm always really into reading lore, but no, I don't think that'll probably happen. Although it would be really great if maybe some of our lore was a little bit more present in a more obvious way, just because I know a lot of it's really interesting. But I would recommend if you are really interested in lore, the best way to look for it is to kind of do a little bit of sleuthing. It's totally there. I would say going to new areas, unlocking them, and going to the cartographer and reading the descriptions is a really good way to learn more about the game. Another really good way is just to complete the quests and listen to what they have to say. Make sure you're reading the boss dialogue, especially like tier 4, tier 5, the kind of stuff they're saying. It kind of will give you some hints about what's going on there. It's the best I got. Let's see, will we be adding pets? Yes. So we don't have an ETA on when those pets will be going in, but we have been having a lot of really cool conversations about what pets might look like. One potential option that was actually community submitted that I know we've kind of talked about briefly is everyone kind of starts with a sort of default pet, and then you can use crafting materials or work for different resources to transform that pet into something else. So there will be like a defined sort of chain or tree, a branching tree of different pets that you can get, and then you can follow those different paths to try and unlock what you're interested in. So that's one possibility. And then what those what the impact of having a pet would be, that's something that we're still definitely talking about. We're very, very careful to make sure that pets don't feel pay to win or anything like that. So the function of pets, unlike our minions, probably won't be a direct like attack power type of thing. It might be more about, you know, maybe they can carry some extra inventory space for you, like a pack mule, or maybe they can increase your pickup radius, or maybe it'll always kind of activate one of the zenith buffs where you're always going to get extra bloodstone or something like that. There's a lot of different possibilities. We're really excited to kind of explore those, and I'm excited for it to be finalized. Let's see here. Oh, so many good questions. All right. Yeah, the in-game text, it does seem like that is a real barrier for people. So I will definitely... Oh, with the cartographer. Yeah, okay, that one is kind of hard to read. I will definitely bring that up once more and make sure that there is a ticket in for that. It would be great if that could be a little bit more dynamic, if it could be scaled up. One thing, though, is that if the text is scaling up, the UI needs to scale up with it, too. So that's something that's maybe a little bit more involved that we'll kind of have to look into. The difference between a minion and a pet. So the minions here, let me go back. The minions are only for this one event. Or, I mean, they could come back in a future event, but the minions that we talked about at least are just for this event. And these are kind of temporary. You summon them, they stay with you for some set amount of time, and then they go poof, and then they're gone. So really it works a little bit more like a Geomancer turret than perhaps a pet actually would. Let's see here. Yeah, the boss dialogue is tough to read, so that's another thing that I've also definitely put in a ticket for, is when an NPC talks to you or when a boss talks to you, that dialogue wouldn't only just be displayed on screen, the dialogue would also be put into your game logs. Then you could go back and you could read that, and if you're in the middle of battle and you aren't like ready for a grand story, you'll be able to access that kind of at your leisure, so I think that's going to be good. All right, increasing silver drop rates with dungeon difficulty. That would also be interesting too. I know that just in general, we've been looking at dungeon scaling. I'm trying to like flip through these, so there's more to look at. So like difficulty scaling in dungeons, more reward scaling, having more dangerous chests show up, things like that. Those are all considerations that we've definitely read and have been thinking about. Again, I can't really promise you an ETA on those things, but it is totally there. It would be really great if dungeons scaled for how many people you're playing with too, so that if you jumped into like a tier 4 dungeon with 10 people, it wouldn't just be a total sweep. So Monster 4773, will the invasion event / system come before the end of the year? I don't believe so, because invasion is going to start after the holidays. So just as a general PSA, I'll put this out here now. Hopefully you guys can see my calendar. Let me wait a second and find out if it's showing up. I've got a little delay here. Maybe my head is blocking it. Oh no, it's not. Okay, great. So today's the 12th, next week the 19th, so this is when it's going to start. We at the office, we have the 25th off, but we are also going to be almost completely out of the office on the 24th as well. So our holiday weekend of the 22nd through the 25th, these 4 days here, I would say that we will probably be a lot less available than usual. That is when certainly the forums and the support links will be your friend, and then we will come back to those as soon as possible. And then the event will continue, and then January 2nd is going to be the last day of that event, and also our next update. So Invasion will start after that. All right, I have 3 more minutes. Thank you all for cooperating with me in my sickly blanket mode. If anyone has any other questions, this is a good time to try and pop those over here. But otherwise, I mean, I just want to say how much I really appreciate everyone's patience. Once again, I know that it can be frustrating to lose progress, and it can be frustrating to have to reach out, but we're here to help you. We're here to make sure that those things are restored. I really appreciate that extra effort that you guys are taking to make sure that that happens so that we can help you out. It's really great. Just in case it did get lost, that link is going to be surviveby.zendesk or surviveby/zendesk.com. It is posted on the forums, it's posted on Steam, and it's also posted in our Discord under the announcements section. So submit a ticket there and we will totally get that refunded to you. If you have any other questions, of course, you can always reach out to me on the forums. Discord, I do tend to be maybe just like a little bit more limited, just because I do get a really high volume of direct messages on Discord. So if at all possible, if it's a more general question, if you can pop that into general chat, we can help you out there. The forums are also great because the chat doesn't move, so that question will be a little bit more visible for longer. But if it is a more urgent or sort of personal, like it concerns your email, something like that type of message, of course, feel free to reach out to me directly on Discord as well. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Abuse of auto hotkeys. Oh, guys, don't do that. I've put in a bunch of tickets this week for hotkey requests from players, actually. So a hotkey to accept a quest, a hotkey to toggle a whole bunch of different stuff off and on that you guys have submitted. So all of those are in there. I would certainly imagine that in our coming updates, the game itself will be a lot more robust hotkey-wise, but in the meantime, please don't cheat. We do have systems in place that basically log a lot of that stuff, so if you're being naughty, we can definitely find you. Those cheat infractions do show up on our side, so there's no hiding. Always watching. How rare will Christmas skin drops be? I don't want to speak to exact percentages just because I'm not positive. That's something that I can probably put into that blog, but if I was going to take a guess, let's say there's like a 60% chance you're going to get one of those projectile consumables, and like a 30% chance you're going to get a minion, and then a 10% chance you're going to get a skin. That's pretty close to the ratios that we're looking at, I think. Getting a skin is definitely the thing that you're probably least likely to do. If you're lucky, you could totally get several during the course of the event, but I would say on average, probably more people are going to get one of them, and then it'll be a surprise about which one it is. Okay, let's see. A name filter, yeah, we've also seen a few pretty nasty ones get through. There are a couple loopholes, unfortunately, to our naming filter where those words are getting through, and I'm trying to just go through and spot ban those. If you use some really seriously bad and derogatory language, that is not tolerated here, and I will take whatever measures I need to. So please don't do that, and we will continue to work on that filter. All right, so anyways, if you do see someone cheating, please message me also. That is really helpful information, and it will help us make the game more secure for everybody, because if somebody really hacks things up, it can actually affect server performance and the ability for others to play the game and enjoy it at the level that they could. So don't do that. Anyways, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this hour-long stream. It has been really cool talking about all of the holiday stuff. I will be putting out more information about that soon, and you can always reach out to me if you have any more questions or anything else that you'd want to talk about. So I will see all of you next week when the holiday event actually starts and we can jump into game and play this stuff. Bye, everyone.